Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and today's mission is a pretty big one. We're going to continue on the right hand to left hand drive conversion of this XJS, and today we're going to do the wiring. Here is a complete wiring harness, or interior wiring harness for a left hand drive car, at least the harness that's different. The harness that is sort of between the seats for the AC and all that doesn't change, and the window switches. But this is the main harness. I removed it from a parts car, and along with everything else I need for this conversion. So the goal today is to get the one from that car, which is the right hand drive one, out and get this one in. So you can see some things. We've got the two fuse boxes here. We have connectors for the dash and a lot of other things going on. So let's dig into the car. I'm going to show you guys sort of where all the main parts are. I'm not really sure exactly how we're going to film this because it's quite tight and honestly a little boring just disconnecting things. But I'm going to try and make this fun and interesting for you guys. So from the last video, I've done a couple things. Like I mentioned, I have removed the steering rack that goes down here, or the steering column. So that goes through the floor over there. And I have removed most of the mobilizer stuff just to get that out of the way. We're not going to use this wiring harness, but I'm not going to throw it away because you never know, you could have a local fire or something somewhere, you need parts of it. It is fairly straightforward how everything's connected. On these cars, there are two main places where they get power. So there are two bulkhead connections, one there and one over there, and they go through to the other side, and that's where they get power from the battery. So for instance, on an XJ6 and XJ12, where the battery is in the engine bay, the battery is physically connected to that here. On these cars, it's a little bit different. Then you have the two fuse boxes here on the blower motors. So in that sense, it's the same as an XJ. Then the main harness goes up here. I've loosened one of these, the same one here. You can reuse them. You just push that little button there and you can carefully pull that apart. Then you have a part of the harness that goes up towards there, and then it goes down over here, and then a part of it goes into over here into the A posts. I've loosened it on that side. You can see there's a relay in there. There's one on the other side as well. So that is the whole sort of connection in there. Then these are the cables to the bulkhead, and you can get through them over here. I've loosened that hose a bit, you can get to that. Then there is part of the harness over here that goes back here as well. That was the only thing I had to cut on the harness when I took it out from the other car, because a small part of the harness goes sort of under the heater. But then if I just have to join three wires, that's really not too bad. So not really sure how I'm going to make this show you guys, because it's just going to be a lot of disconnection. I'm going to set up the camera, and then once I've disconnected a few things, and then I'll show you some tips and tricks to continue getting this out. We'll get this whole thing out, we'll compare it to the other one and put the other one in. So this side is basically all out and taking about half an hour so far, going slowly so I don't break anything, and also taking pictures and mental notes of where everything goes. I don't have exact photographic memory, but I almost have it. When it comes to these sort of things, I do. So I always tend to remember where things go. This relay was in here. And this part of the wiring harness goes up here, down into there. And then this is electric mirror and the rest of the harness there. I have that left to disconnect there, and then part of the harness comes down here. Here is that main positive feed that goes up and over the blower motor here. So I got that to disconnect down here, and then we have pretty much the same thing to do on the other side. So it should take maybe an hour or so to get this harness out, and it should maybe be something about the same to get the new one in. So everything should be disconnected now. Only had to cut one wire. It goes down here in transmission tunnel. I believe it's a speed sensor. I had to cut that one on the other one as well, so need to put that together. Let me try and get this whole mess out of here. Oh, one cable is that's some immobilizer thing. Yeah, gotta cut that one. Could also be something to do with this thing has a massive stereo in it, and with an amplifier and everything in the boot. So don't really know. That could go to that. We'll find out later. Here is a fuse box, auxiliary fuse box, and what do we have here? Oh yeah, that is a bit of stereo wiring as well. So there's speakers that go into the doors. Where did I put? There we go. We'll cut that as well. But not too bad. Just 2 cables that need to be cut. And the whole wiring harness out in less than an hour. Here we have both harnesses laid out, and I've done some preliminary checks, and it seems like it's going to work because they have the same connectors on both sides, except one thing, which is really interesting. You know the relays on both sides? They are the same. So the wires are opposite on these. So that's really odd, but I just have to swap those relays from one side to the other, and that is going to work. I mean, how I've wired it up. But everything else is fine. So this is a loom. Let's see, this is, oh, this is confusing now. The top loom there is left-hand drive. So up here, for instance, you can see this is the same cable here. The colors on here for the relay are not the same as there, but these are the colors for the other side. But these connectors are the same for that loom going down there. Then you have these 2 connectors are the same as those 2. And then you have that loom over there, seems to be the same. And it's the same story on the other side. So it all seems to work out. I'm going to start putting the new loom in and start connecting things up. And we'll figure out sort of what the next steps are. Let's see if we can get this harness in. So this is the part up here, and that goes there. So this will be pretty much exactly the same as what we did before, and yeah, it's going to be faster for me just to put it in without showing you guys. It's going to be exactly the same, and we'll mount this in, and then when that is done, we're going to have a look and see if there are any differences, if there's anything major that I have to change or not, because I don't know, I haven't done a conversion like this before, but hopefully everything plugs in, but we'll find out for you guys in a couple seconds. Starting to go into place here. So I've pulled the main cable up here, and that is where it connects. It needs to have a boot on it. It's torn, but I have a torn boot as well. I put on there with some tape, and that will be good. I put this, pour that down into here. Yeah, it's a mess. And then this is prepared to go up behind here and over and into. Those are the main bulkhead connectors over there. So I'm going to run this up. Then I'm going to put the fuse panel up into place. Connect that up. Start hanging this thing up here. And then that will go over and do basically the same thing on the other side. So not that straightforward. I mean, not that difficult. Pretty straightforward. Just a lot of wires. After about an hour and a half, most of the harness is in. Always takes a little bit longer to put things back together, and trying to figure things out because things are a little bit different, but everything's plugged in so far. It's just on this car, a lot of the wiring around here is run that way. On the other car, it was run behind here. So varying lengths of things a little bit, but it's all working out pretty well at the moment. And actually don't have anything that I don't know where it's not going to plug in. So that's all really good. However, we're going to stop here because just like we stopped with the engine, there's no point in putting the rest of the harness in because I need to remove things. I need to remove, the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal over there. That's going to be easier to get to when the harness is loose. I need to put the other brake pedal and the other accelerator pedal from the left-hand drive car over here. Also easier to do once all of this is in. I put this bracket in though. That is what holds the top of the steering column. I moved it from that side to this side. So that's the first sort of part I've moved over. Other than that, I have a couple things left to button up, but no point in doing that until we've done the conversions of the pedals and probably the steering column as well. And that's it for this video. A little bit of a shorter one, but that was just because I really want to split this up in parts, also so I can bring you guys videos more quickly as it's happening, and also to, for my own sake, split this up into tasks, because this may be fun, but I get tired doing this because it's a lot of concentration, a lot of figuring out where things go. So I'm going to go and do something else for a while now, and then I'll do a little bit more tomorrow. So the next video I think will be tomorrow for me, start filming that. It's going to be the pedals. I think I'm going to leave those in place first and actually just fit the other ones on this side, figure things out. Don't really know which way I'm going to tackle it. I think I'm going to start from the engine bay, remove the blanking panel that's there, have a look how all that looks, get the pedal in. I think the accelerator pedal needs to go first. Yeah, get that all in, but you'll get to see that in the next video. Anyways, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to follow along on this unique conversion from a right-hand drive to left-hand drive XJS, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Until next time, I'm out. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.